common travel nurse tax mistakes. My ears, they perk up whenever I hear fellow travel nurses talk about how they file their taxes for their business. Taxes are so tricky because everyone seems to have different opinions about them. Many financial experts have suggested ways to take advantage of the process and save some extra cash. While some of these ideas are sheer genius, others are a disaster waiting to happen. I believe that we all need to win. And the best way to do this is through collaboration and knowledge sharing. I'm also inquisitive and very friendly, so I love to jump in on conversations whenever possible. I once heard this colleague casually boasting about how her CPA recommended that she file exempt all year and falsify her business deductions to reduce her tax liability at the end of the year. I don't think I will ever see a larger red flag than that. So I decided to go into typical Q&A mode because I was curious whether she understood the consequences of this obviously terrible advice. According to her, this was nothing new. In fact, she had been following this grand plan, filing exempt and using her shell business to write off her housing, travel, and equipment costs since the pandemic in 2020. And the best part was that she had tremendous results to show for it. She wrote off $80,000 in deductions for 2021 and even got a $7,200 tax return that year. Shit, this is impressive, especially since it only cost her $400 a year to do it. I was not trying to be petty, I promise, but I had to ask a question. If you get audited, will your CPA defend you against the IRS? On hearing her grand plan, several thoughts literally ran through my mind. Let's do a deep dive into her process and the problems that they pose. Filing exempt. While many people claim that filing for tax exemption is such a hack, in most cases they fail to emphasize how risky it is if you're found guilty of underpayment. No legitimate CPA will encourage you to do this except under particular circumstances. Our tax system operates as a pay-as-you-go structure. So, you should be paying quarterly taxes for your business. It's a much safer bet. Running a shell business. There is literally no upside to running a non-income generating business and using it as a cover. It's the kind of stuff you should only see in true crime drama. Why would anyone create an unprofitable entity and claim shopping sprees on Amazon as business expenses or use transactions from Venmo and Cash App as false income? Unfortunately, my colleague was literally milking the system dry. Even though she got a tax-free stipend, she still duplicated deductions for housing costs, meals, and incidentals. Hiring a CPA versus an enrolled agent. Unlike CPAs, enrolled agents are licensed at the federal level by the IRS. These individuals have the highest possible qualification from the IRS and are solely focused on tax preparation. For individuals running a small and medium scale business, an enrolled agent is always a good idea because they provide streamlined expertise and can ensure that you remain compliant with your tax filing. So we're going to talk about audit risk for travel nurses. Travel nurses have a low taxable income, meaning the IRS is closely watching us. In most cases, they compare our income and expenses and seek to identify discrepancies. If the math ain't mathing, you can expect a knock at the door from the IRS. And this is why you shouldn't hire a random professional to manage your taxes. It's best to get someone who is very familiar with our industry and understands literally all the pitfalls. Also, your documentation must be faultless to protect yourself from an audit. Keep copies of your travel contracts, expense records, W-2s, and any other items the IRS may require. And what can the IRS legally do to get their money back? Your tax penalties, should you be found guilty of a violation, will vary depending on your offense. But the IRS, oh baby, they can get their money back in several ways if you refuse to pay your taxes. One option is to impose a federal tax lien. This simply means that the government will file a claim against your property, which can massively affect your credit rating. An alternative would be to serve you a notice of levy. This allows for confiscating and selling your property to satisfy the tax debt. So you can see why I was worried about this travel nurse. She was literally setting herself up for serious problems with the government. And the sad part was that she had no idea. I remember that she could barely look at me without shifting her eye before unconvincingly mumbling that her CPA would defend her taxes in case of an audit. I was very sure that there was literally no way the person that was filing her taxes was a CPA or an enrolled agent, because no enrolled agent would give such poorly thought out advice. I was sure she had no clue what an enrolled agent was. I've been doing business for a while, and I hadn't even heard of that term until just last year. My experience with the IRS. You cannot imagine how disappointed I was when the IRS mailed four demand letters requesting that I pay them $15,000 because I failed to file the yearly S corporation returns for all of my businesses since 2018. How was that supposed to be my job when I had a supposed CPA and a lawyer? I had both. I am no expert at taxes, so I sought the expertise of these gurus to handle my financial obligations to the IRS. I paid what seemed like a small fortune to help with my taxes for 4 years, and they both failed to do their jobs. So trust me, I only employed certified enrolled agents to help with my tax filings and suggest business strategies. You cannot rely on any random Harry to tell you how to manage your money, or you'll soon have the IRS literally knocking down your door with a hefty ass fine. After determining if an enrolled agent was assisting her, I asked her if she had ever been audited. Unlike before, she happily said no. However, I could tell that she literally feared that her 2021 tax return may raise some suspicions because of that $80,000 worth of deductions. I mean, who has a whopping $80,000 in deductions as a nurse? Now, if she had total confidence in her CPA wasn't, and that they weren't some con artists, that would not have been a concern. However, the fact that she could not vouch for their competence meant that they weren't an enrolled agent, and she faced a severe risk of being audited. I've been audited twice in my life, and trust me, it's one of the absolute worst things that can ever happen to you. 1 minute, you sitting pretty, celebrating a decent financial year, and the next, you get a mail reminder telling you to never mess with Uncle Sam. Promise you, you don't want to be at the receiving end of an IRS audit. You don't. The government will literally take the clothes off your back and not give a damn if you have a roof over your head, money to buy groceries, a car to get to work, or a means to pay back what you owe. Everything is up for grabs. They will take all your shit, your bank accounts, your wages, your jewelry, and the family heirloom your grandma handed down to you. Honestly, why do people insist on scheming and playing games is literally beyond me. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to get the right people to help you with your taxes. A lot of financial struggles that I faced as a travel nurse were due to bad financial advice from CPAs. Promise you. They have recommended, and they were recommended to me by my fellow nurses. Listen, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. There are some shady lawyers and CPAs that just want to take your money and damage your finances and literally not give a damn. In the end, when it's time for the inevitable audit, they will be nowhere to be found, and it'll be your problem to deal with whatever punishment the law imposes on you. Only an enrolled agent would be willing to help you deal with any IRS inquiries into your financials. Sure, it might cost you a bit more, but you save a lot in the long run. Any amount that you pay for your taxes to be done right is worth it, especially if you're a business owner. Proper tax planning will save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars over time. And it's one of the best investments that you can make for a stable financial future. If you are serious about becoming independent and growing your wealth, stacking that cash, choosing the right people to help you manage your money is critical. It's a critical step in the right direction. Cannot enforce this enough. This has been another episode of Stronger Nurse Universe. Thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate you for showing up and supporting your girl, Stronger Nurse, in my hat, Captain Amazing. I will see you in my next episode. Thank you. Mwah! Stronger Nurse out.